On a Journey with Giselle. I'm your host, Giselle, and welcome back to the show, everyone. Welcome back. I'm so glad that you tuned into this episode. I'm so excited for this conversation. I'm so excited just to be able to share this episode with you all as we are all on a journey. I want to continue a conversation that we've kind of talked about, but we're going to get a male perspective, and that's going to be no other person than my brother, an honorary guest. His name is Tyrell Flint Hill Stunner. He's an artist, but we really don't do titles. To me, he's my big brother, and he's someone that has really just inspired me, really given me a lot of advice, shown me life, and he's experienced a lot in his life. And I really just wanted to sit down and talk to him about a little bit about his journey and things that he has learned how to maneuver within his journey and things that he's grown within his journey. So, how I do it is I really just want to let him introduce himself as he and who he is and who he wants to continue to be. So Tyrell, I'm gonna pass it over to you.
What's going on, Journey? How you call them? On the Journey with G? Do you have a name for your
Yeah,
audience?
journeyers, my journeyers.
Journeyers, what's going on, Journeyers? How are y'all? What's going on? I'm Tyrell, um, artist, motivational speaker, party promoter, man of many hats. I do many things. I do music. I own my own multimedia company. I release music from there on all platforms at Flint Hill Stunner Gaming. That's on all your streaming platforms at Flint Hill Stunner on for any type of music. But just to describe myself, I'm just a family man and a father, someone that I would want everybody to be. Everyone that comes in contact with me, I would want them to be proud to have done so. And I want them, to reflect that in the things that they tell other people. So I always, carry myself like that. Hopefully, those are the stories that you will hear about.
Exactly. No, thank you. And he's true. That's exactly what we're going to dive in today and talk about. Before we get started on the show, Tyrell, so we do this thing before we get in our conversation. I really like to highlight the two G's. My home name, what everybody calls me is Gigi. And, in this segment, you talk about either what you're grateful for or what are you giving yourself great grace in this period in your life. And, to get started, I just want to say what I'm grateful for. Actually, I want to say what I'm giving myself grace for. What I'm giving myself grace for is really, you know, accepting where I am in life and understand that I'm in a new period. As my journeyers know, I have relocated and, things are different since I kind of came back home. I don't have the same circle. I'm becoming the woman that I am. So trying to navigate that and really just, uh, I'm not a school and I don't go to just school. I'm now working professional while also trying to pursue my passion. So just navigating all that, I'm just giving myself grace and accepting that's who I am and where I'm at. So I want to pass it over to you. You have an option. You can give what you're grateful for, what you're giving yourself grace in, one of the or the other, or you can do both. So, all right, Tyrell.
Well, with me, to be completely honest, the most important thing that I'm grateful for is, like I just said earlier, that I'm a family man. So just every time I see my son, I just get, that's the most joyous feeling you can ever get. Um, Same thing with my mama and my family, like everyone that that means something to me. That's my world. Those are, my kingdom. Being spiritual, it tells you to be kingdom minded. So that's my kingdom, the people I feel like I'm there to protect, provide for, and do all that stuff for. So to see them happy, to see you flourish, to see you say that you get advice from me and it's some of the best information, that's the stuff that make me happy. So I'm grateful for those things. As much as I want to say um anything that's outside of that, it would be other than my health, it would be false because I'm a big every man has to be masculine, but I'm gonna be soft guy, get real emotional real quick. I can probably cry at the drop of a dime. So with all of those things being said, I got a big heart and my heart go out for other people. So I recently last week was I was watching Tubi because I believe in independent. That's where all the good movies at. So I'm watching Tubi, and a commercial come across, and it was just showing kids, and they had counts, and I saw the parents, and that just made my heart so warm. And I was just like, man, I'm so thankful for everything that I take in vain, or everything that I want to speed my process up for. So I guess that's me giving myself grace too. I'm giving grace to my process in the
Mhm.
midst of saying that I'm grateful for my family and my health. But all the things that I complain about and the stuff that I act like I want to speed up or I want to do right now, and God may not have it for me at the moment, or I may not have put myself in the right position to receive those things as of yet. With those things, I when I watch a commercial like that, my heart just got so happy and so full just to know that I'm healthy and I can play with my kid. I
Mhm.
can be there to help my mother if she whatever she doing. Or if you call me and want to talk about something, I can have consciousness to be able to relate to what you saying and give you a different perspective. So as long as I have those things, I'm grateful enough to give myself grace on anything I may feel like I don't have, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you, Tyrell. And yeah, like you always gonna keep it 100 and real with me, and I'm so grateful for you. And if you want to check out, like at the end of the show, I'm gonna send something and show you a little clip of what Tyrell has done. And he has this document in his Grace and Mercy, so that kind of gives a little bit about him as well. So Tyrell has a story, and I'm gonna let y'all check him out and hear a lot of his story through his music and his movies and what he does. But we are also gonna get into the show, kind of conversation, talking about your journey. And you said you're a father, you're a family man, and I want you to kind of, as we transition into the conversation, can you tell us, from your perspective, like what's the journey of becoming a man? I know it's different for everybody. So what did that look like for you?
Honestly, it's not a blueprint to becoming a man. It's not a blueprint to becoming yourself. It is constant growth. It's constant pain. It's constant and I say pain, I don't mean it loosely or lightly. I say it because and you got to forgive me because sometimes the alter ego versus who I am, they're very contradicting. I can, look a certain way and carry myself a certain way, and usually when I'm thinking, it all comes from a spiritual standpoint, a spiritual aspect. So what I would say, I would relate it to anything that's spiritual. You have to kill your flesh and let God enter in. So killing your flesh, it means anything that you think that you're like, anything that's tangible to you, anything, the best scenario I could use to go with it is having your favorite pair of shoes. And
Mhm.
it don't matter, we all have had them in high school, growing up, our
Yeah.
favorite pair of shoes. If your feet get bigger and you outgrow those shoes, they're uncomfortable. You can hold on to them and you can keep stuffing your feet in them if you want to, but you may have to let them shoes go to receive something better. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
a comfort zone is a great place to be, but nothing grows there. So
Mhm.
being a man is those are probably all of my little cliche sayings that I remind myself of as far as being a man go. I wouldn't say that I reached manhood until I was true manhood. My father probably at 30 years old when my father died, and it was
Mhm.
for a lot of reasons. Um, like you said, I had a different upbringing. Some people wouldn't understand it. You would have to be there. It was like a real movie. Some of the stuff that I saw probably, you know, would be a bestseller of a movie. To know the things that I had to go through and overcome, and see my family go through and overcome. But that's the constant thing with me about being a man. I probably at 30 years old, I lost my father 5 years ago. 2 months later, I had my son, my first child.
Mhm.
So at one time, I saw life being taken away from me and being 2 months I had to grieve and prepare myself to say, okay, if you're ready or not, this is something that you got to do because this is your responsibility. And if you fail him, then it's only going to be a cycle of what you had to go through and everybody that you know that was close to you. So the only chance that you do have of at least doing right by him is being ready or making yourself ready. So that was uncomfortable in itself. And then, but he was been it's a double-headed sword because just as much as uncomfortable it was to make myself be prepared to be a man, take all of my responsibilities and do everything I need to do, make major sacrifices for him to be okay, and put part of being a man in my scenario. You know, I can't
Mhm.
even speak for nobody else. It's like what they say is putting away childish things. A lot of the things that I wanted to do for myself when I had a son, I had all the things I wanted to do for myself right here on the scale. And I had a lot of things that I knew I had to do for him right here on the scale. And a lot of people will tell you any successful person has to be selfish and think
Mhm.
about themselves so they can establish themselves and then be able to give back to their family. I guess
Mhm.
that probably wasn't a sacrifice that I was willing to make because I saw everybody around me make that sacrifice. And growing up, I still felt like I didn't have enough. So I wanted to do the total opposite. And for my son, I would be the sacrifice. I'm not gonna make him the sacrifice and put all my dreams on Front Street. I'll be the sacrifice and let him flourish so all his dreams can come to life. So once I did that and put myself away, that's when I feel like I became a man. Sorry
That's
to make
amazing.
that short story very long.
No, no, no. That you hit on a lot of points. That was amazing because a lot of key points that I took from it was, first off, like you said, there's no blueprint. We talk about on the show oftentimes in your journey, you might have a plan, but there's no blueprint, and so that was amazing. A lot of people have this, it is a blueprint of how a man should grow up. You should go to school. You should get a wife. You should get a child and a house and do all of that. And yes, you have, your story is a little bit different than a lot of other people, but what I like that you said that is letting go of your flesh, letting go of your desires, and it brought you into a journey of becoming more of a man for your son, my little buddy. Because that's what you had to do because you did not want to repeat a, a cycle and you wanted to give him what you didn't have. And I think that sacrificial decision, it was honorable, and it's just something that most people have a hard time doing. um and I appreciate that. I want to talk about from a man's perspective. It's a lot that you all deal with as a man, just in different ways. You talked about grief, you talked about bringing in a new life. That's a quick transition. So how did you deal with grief while also celebrating the new life of your son?
Well, to be completely honest, you never really deal with grief because it's days that, it's been 5 years and it's days where I can think about him, hear his voice, some stuff that my daddy said, and I laugh. Or some days I think about the differences that we may have had and I cry. So grief is something that to me is probably everlasting. But one thing about me, um, I to preference everything before I even get too deep into the interview. Everything that I say, just to preference it, out preference everything that I'm saying. I would consider myself a philosopher. So
Mhm.
I and I don't do titles and self-proclaimed names. When I say that, it's because I've lived a life that I'm pretty sure no one else has lived as we all have. I think we
Mhm.
all are unique with our own specific journeys and our own specific things that made us because things that we go through shapes our mold and our mold is what makes us our character. So I believe we all have a unique journey. So the one that I've been on, it just made me have my own perspective, my own outlook. So I don't seek outside things, So I just want the preference that I don't seek a lot of outside things to lean on. I lean on stuff of what I've been through, stuff that, to me, I consider it being a realist, what this world really is. Like, regardless of what we may want it to be, or what we think of it, or what we expect, I look at it, direct for what it has shown me that it is and what it's going to be tomorrow. So with that being said, how I deal with not only the grief of my father, um, or bringing my son in the world, anything that I go through is because I know the world don't stop. All the
Mm.
people that I had like the most admiration for, the people that I had like, such respect for, some of the best people I knew, all of them died young. All of them have been in situations that I can't even fathom being in. So when I think about those things, I'm already so blessed and so lucky to be here, to be coherent, to be able to. Every day we have an opportunity to make life exactly what we want it to be. So that's my whole philosophy. That's my whole philosophy, my whole journey. It's because I know no matter what we went through yesterday, life is all about what we can do today to make a better tomorrow. So
Hmm.
whatever I go through, that's what I preference my life on. So when it came to my father, when he got diagnosed with cancer, when he got whatever he went through, and before that, since I've been a child, I took care of my daddy. And that's something that, anybody could tell you. A lot of people know. I've been taking care of my daddy since I was a kid. So when it came to the time of him passing, I had gave and done everything possible that a child could do and probably more for their daddy. The same sacrifice I was willing to make for my son, when I got out of school, I made those sacrifices for my daddy. So I know, a lot, not to say I didn't hurt because it's still to this day I have times when I cry. But I don't think I cried or felt real, grief until maybe a year or two after when I was like, dog, he really is nothing I can do to get him to come back. Like his man, I just one time I at least can, wish we can at least hug, something like that. And I started to, it started hitting me. But I didn't do a whole lot of, grieving and crying because I gave all I could while he was here. So I think, when I say how I describe myself, I think that's what we gotta all get into. Because it's easy to give people their flowers when they die and speak high regards of them when they gone. But to give yourself to people and to be available and to do all that you can for a person while they're here is the biggest reward that you will ever receive. So,
Yeah.
that's that on it.
No, that's amazing. And grief, like you said, like that. I like that perspective because you know many men and just in general the um stigma, I guess you would say, behind it is that men gotta be masculine. But it sounds like even and not saying gotta be, but they like I'm tough, I can't cry. But you already said that you have your emotions, which is amazing. And having that grief is just you know saying that you did what you made that sacrifice for your father just like you did for your son. That's amazing to hear because I know it might be hard. People might be struggling and wanting to bring people back that might not have the option to do that. And I appreciate you saying that. I know you talked about you had your low places of like or not low places but times when you were it really hit you and you felt that grief is everlasting, and that's a journey that is going to be ongoing. And there's times in our life where we not just with only a person, but there's sometimes things in our life that we do grieve, like people or situations, past lives. I want to ask you, in your own, work that you do and your passions, has there been something in your like, has there been a time in your life where you something died or a situation died or a passion that you thought that was going to carry you died, not necessarily died, but it was time to let it go and you became uninspired? Like, did you like, can you talk about like that?
Um, the last time a passion, it goes back to me being a realist. The last time a passion of mine died was probably 10th grade when I was a realist and realized to go to the NBA, you needed to be at least 6'2" or 6'3". And at
Hmm.
that height, you need to be able to handle the ball real good. And all my life, I've been 6 foot. And I've been playing center and power forward, and there'll never be a 6 foot center and power forward in the NBA. So when I realized that, that was the last time a dream probably died on me. But other than that, I never believed it's too late. I know that I'm 35. Some would consider that like my young cousins and my little homies, they call me Unc. So but I look at the age that I am, and I know everybody that I really know that was really successful didn't reach that age until right now or a little later in their 30s. And I don't believe in, nothing can defeat me. If I give up or something dies, that means that I quit. I just never had that concept, or you know what I'm saying. I never understood how someone can live. If it's about, you said your passion. If it's a
Right.
passion, something I'm passionate about, that mean I do this without money. It's like music to me. I don't have to go. I'm never sad. I'm never depressed. I never, need advice because I have music. It raised me. When I didn't have a father, music was there to mold me and shape me of what I thought a man should be. And now that I'm older, I do the same and I pour that same energy back into music. So if someone listens, if it ever catches on, it can possibly raise somebody that's going through the stuff that I've been through too. Or those that so that's gonna be something, even if nobody ever hears it, that's my therapy. That's how I get all the energy that's bottled up in me out of me. Is talking to the microphone. So I don't need a listening ear. The microphone listens and I can play it back. And not only did I express myself and get my pain out, I'm able to listen to it and see how I grew from when I feel like that. So it's just no different than an artist when he paint a picture and he sell it and it goes for a big amount and they keep talking about the Mona Lisa. He may never be here to see this painting again. Picasso may never see it, but his name is still going through that painting and all his emotions and what he was feeling at that one time. He gave it to the world and he lives through it. He lives forever through that. So you know what I'm saying? That's when it comes to my passion, nothing that I'm passionate about could ever die. So
That's amazing.
that's just to
That's
be honest.
that's amazing because some people get like and that's really great because some people aren't like that. Let's just be real. There's people that are listening. There's people in this world. I will admit where I've had passions of mine like fitness and even doing this podcast and being positive. I'm not gonna say I've gotten tired of it, but I just didn't know what direction to really take and if you saying that when you have a passion it never dies. I think that some people get lost in the way of how to continue that passion. So really hearing you saying that like you just you are motivated by it and knowing that that's what's there for you, that's what you have. It makes sense because like even when I think about my own passions, living healthy, motivating people, I'm not going to tell you a lot. Like there's a lot of people for me that sometimes it's hard to like I went through a season in my life, let's just say that I went through a season in my own life like many people have gone through, and there was a time where I couldn't motivate because I wasn't motivated, and really all I knew how to do was pour into myself. Not saying pour into myself, but really try to figure myself out, figure out what direction I was going. So the motivation and speaking that you might hear when I'm on on live or talking to people, all I can really do is give a smile. And so knowing that I want to inspire people, knowing that I feel like it is my purpose to encourage people. It makes sense because when it's in you, it never dies, like you said, and like even that smile, I've seen it change people's day versus me actually physically saying stuff sometimes. And you always taught me like in the sense of like my fitness, like gee, like how you present yourself, your body, like that is your billboard. So when I wasn't feeling encouraged to do videos and really dive in and train people, it's like okay, people see who you are. So like that would like it's like the world, not the world, but it was just like where I felt dead or where I felt uninspired, that was I was getting inspired back by just little things. So, I think that's something that while people are on the journey, if you do feel that your passion is dying, or if you do feel that, you don't have your passion anymore, you don't have to let it go. Like tap into a little bit of something else in another area of your passion because it's sometimes not easy for, some people like to continue in their passion. So you talk about like your passion not dying. So what motivates you? You know what I mean? Like what keeps you pushing through? I know you talked about you relying on it, but like when you're facing adversity, or when you're facing things that like might not have the certain stuff that you want to do what you want to do, like what keeps you to keep writing, making music?
My situation never can, my situation and where I'm at the moment can never define who I know that I really am. My situation, like how dope I am for real, ain't based on where I'm at right now. Like everything we do is a stepping stone. Like life itself is, first I have to say it's imperative that I feel like everybody should first, before you try to think about a passion, you should always try to learn and understand who you really are. Learn the real you first. Um, because if it's something that you're really passionate about, money can't define it. Your situation can't define it. So with me, I know, music is one of my biggest passions. Acting, film, you know what I'm saying? Arts itself is one of my biggest passions. Um, outside of stuff like philanthropy, but like just doing those things, the greatest pieces of work come from your most triumphant times. You know what I'm saying? So just for me knowing, if you have something, that's why I use the artist and the Mona Lisas and all his energy in that picture. Because anytime you're doing art, it don't matter if it's sports, boxing, if it's basketball, whatever. You look at every person, the way that they are, their character is how they present it. That is the way that they present it through their art. If it don't matter if it's real estate, if you've been through something and it makes you aggressive, then you're gonna be an aggressive realtor. You're not gonna take no for an ounce. You're gonna be at them people's doorsteps. You just said it's your passion to give to others and motivate. So you naturally have that calming, nurturing demeanor, because that's what your passion is to be that nurture. You know what I'm saying? So whatever a person is, it's expressed through the things that they do. It's expressed through their actions. A person's character is expressed through their actions. So with me knowing that motivation comes from every situation that I'm in. When it comes to like a person losing their motivation, or when it comes to, there's a situation making your motivation, go away, or detour you off of your motivation. We all gonna have those small times. Like greatness is sporadic. Like you might be 28 through 32, you might not have an off day. Everything you do within your passion can be spot on, spot on, spot on, spot on. The name of the game and the objective is to capitalize on those moments, to make those moments be something meaningful for the next phase of your life when you're going through 'em. So when you in that zone and when you feeling like you're done, that's when you never get lazy. It's like treating your good days like it's a bad day too. So you overpiled up on the good. So when the bad come, you're stocked up. If you got money, if you got 250,000 and it's a good day, you still can go get some grocery and cook at home and make it last for 2 days, because next week that store might not get grocery. And if you got grocery and went out to eat on top of the good day, then you're prepared for the bad day. Sometimes without even knowing it. So with me knowing that, whatever I go through, um, the biggest thing would be probably reinventing it. Like I heard you speak on it, like shifting it, like finding something different in what you good at. Like I got a cousin. Shout out to my cousin Xavier. You know what I'm saying, Coach Zay Holmes. I'm gonna use him for an example because I know he always been passionate since he was a little boy, and said he was gonna, we Great Falls, where I'm at now, from Ridgeway, but I've been in Great Falls every weekend of my whole life, and I'm here now. That's where I stay. But we probably had still the most state championships in South Carolina history. He always wanted to win a championship in high school, won his championships, wanted to go play at the next level. He went to college to play at the next level and was a good player. You know what I'm saying? When they go back to me saying 10th grade, what reality was to me when I stopped playing, he still wanted to go. Basketball was still a passion to him. So he went and played in college, came back. Now he reinvented. He's still in the sport. Now he coaching. He reinvented himself. He's still giving back to his passion. Before he was coaching for pay, he was having AAU teams that he was paying out of pocket for. So he was doing this because he wasn't expecting the money, because this is something that he was passionate about. So I just use him as an example. You know what I'm saying? But with me, if I'm getting old and I feel like, man, people don't want to hear the music no more from me, and it's still good quality, I can write for somebody else. If I'm an author and if I've been working on film and I've been trying to write films for a long time and nobody picking up on them. I might have to get a camera and record it myself and put them out and see what this can do. You know what I'm saying? It's all about reinventing yourself. It ain't got nothing to
Mm-hmm.
do with just stopping. A lot of times, you know, I've never been a person that looked at a situation and felt like, oh, this is just it. I always been a person like, no matter what I'm going through, that's cool. No matter what accomplishment I make, that's cool. But what's
Mm-hmm.
next? Before I'm even getting to the accomplishment, I'm thinking when I get that accomplishment out the way, I need to be gearing up for this. So I think sometimes we put out, and some people say you got to put all your eggs in one basket. Don't have a plan B. Be totally obsessed with your plan A so it can, that's the only way you can get it. That goes back to me saying a lot of people will tell you to be a great man, you have to be selfish, because you're so caught up in the plan A, you don't have a plan B. You do whatever it takes to make this plan A happen. I guess that's cool, but you know what I'm saying? I feel like without whatever other people consider success, I'm a great man already. Anything that I get with being a great man is an extended bonus. So you know what I'm saying? It's nothing nobody can give me that can make me any less great. The only thing it can do is enhance my greatness that's already there. But the world get to grade me, my world, my kingdom, my family, the people that matter to me. They see my greatness every day. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the people that truly matter to me. So as long as they know that I'm great, as long as my child happy to see me, and he, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying, he comfortable there with me, long as we fed, that's greatness to me. So anything else is an enhancement. Everything else is a bonus.
Yeah.
So, that's that on it.
Nah, I appreciate that. You said so much in there. I want to first start off before I even go into that. Like that was really powerful. I don't know if y'all caught on to that, but that was really powerful and just he said something. And if y'all listen, if you are new to the show, you're gonna hear me say that at the end. But my journeyers already know what I'm always saying, and I got this. I got this from an accident I actually had 10 years ago. Matter of fact, 10 years ago. I had an accident, where the doctor told me, like, the doctor literally said, Giselle, you're not going to be able to do fitness the way you're doing it. And, just like Tyrell is telling you, he was there for me. He saw it. He saw how I bounced back, and it plays back in my head how you said reinvent. Like you are you, and like at the end of the day, nobody can tell you what you're passionate about. And it's just like when I say you define your destiny, only you can define your destiny. Tyrell will tell you, Almeji will tell you, Gabby will be able to tell you as well. All of them been on the show. They'll tell you. The doctor told me that I laid in the bed for 2 days. After that, I said, okay, I'm going to learn how to use my hand. And it's been up from then. I just been learning how to, and that brought me into different areas of fitness that I didn't even think I was going to be in. I really wanted to be on an app. I wanted to, and that still might be something that's down the line, but my goal was like, I'm going to be on the app. I'm going to be, teaching people on an app and have all this money. But no, I refocus and I now do rehabilitation. I work with people starting their fitness journey. I teach different tips, and that all started from me redesigning. So, I say to my journeyers, you might be on a journey and you might be losing passion. You might be unmotivated, but you heard it from both me and Tyrell. Like you when it's in you, your passion doesn't leave. Like you just need to might mold it and like redefine it, figure out a different way. And if it's something that you love, you go after it. Either, keep on trying, finding new ways, writing it out, keep on trying different things, and it will come. And that's something that I just, really took from what you're saying. And I appreciate it because, there's a lot, one time when I was in Boston, Tyrell doesn't know this, but I would call Tyrell. This is probably the most Tyrell knew when I was in Boston, I would call and I get a lot of advice from Tyrell. And there was a few things that kind of really stuck out. Like, and I wrote it down in one of my journals that I have. And it was about perseverance. And he was like, you just got to keep persevering. And that was probably Tyrell's toughest year. Like, I know it was one of Tyrell's probably toughest years. Like, like he spoke about with his father passing and everything and just handling a lot of business. Tyrell always tries to be there for the people that he loved. And he had to tell even, people that he loved, like, I got to take care of my father. And, when I was going through a time in my life, he was like, gee, you got it. You just got to, you just keep persevering. And that just like rung through my head, like, despite the challenges I might have been fighting through, like, all right, you want this position, you go after it. You go after it. And if you got to take the bus, you're going to take the bus. You learn this new city and you master it. And, that's what I did. And I'm thankful for you, Tyrell, because the wisdom that you pour into me is so much. Like, honestly, when me and Tyrell talk, like, one day we need to record our conversations, because we don't be on the phone. We be on the phone for like an hour and a half, and we just be talking real stuff. And it's just like, I appreciate you. And just to kind of, as we're gonna kind of wrap this up, I want to ask you two big questions that, I want to know, and I want, you to explain is, what one the first question is, you can answer this together if you want, or separate. The first question is, you talked about success. What is success to you? And then the second question is, what are you right now in this moment, or just in general, what are you most proud of?
Whatever a person is not totally objected to one thing or one person. Like one person, like, your doctor told you that you would never probably be able to do fitness the way that you was doing it before. So for you to make it there and to be doing even bigger than what you was doing before is success. And if nothing else, not saying you wouldn't want nothing else out of life, but that alone should let you know, like, I've reached success. I'm just using you as an example because this is
Yeah.
something that we share. Um, if I told myself the biggest thing I wanted to do was be a rapper, I already put 3 albums out independently with nobody helping me, all out of my own pocket. Regardless of how everybody receives it, I've done what I said I was gonna do. I already reached success. Like I just look at every small thing as a bonus to me. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
always success is so mild, so something that it's something that's so broad that nobody can define for nobody else. Of course, people would tell you if a man don't make a X amount of dollars, he's not successful. But if a man make $10 an hour, got a roof over his kid's head that he rent and never owns, got a car that he leases and never owns, and he make a way to his child games, and his child think that his daddy is his superhero, then that man is successful. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? We all want jobs where we be millionaires. We all want careers where we do and get paid for doing what we love. We
Right.
all want our process to be when we want our process to be. That's something that we all want. So if that really truly defines success, all of us are failures because we
Mm-hmm.
did that. No matter who reached success, you failed before you got there. The time frames that anybody I heard tell somebody, it always it takes a little bit longer. It always fails the first time. So if that's what success truly is, then we all are failures. But if saying I got a goal and I'm gonna keep going and do whatever I can to reach my goal, and then when I get a little closer to my goal, it don't happen the way I said it did, but I learned something on the journey to inspire me to keep going, to do it again, and I can get a little bit more and I keep chipping off at the block, to me that's success. I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
die trying than not do nothing at all. So you know what I'm saying? That's success to me. So
Yeah.
whatever success is to another person, I can't define that. It has to be what motivates them. Like I said, I had the choice where I could have did what I needed to do for myself or do what I needed to do for my son. I chose my son. With that day that I made that choice, I chose, am I gonna base my success off what I'm doing and what I'm receiving, or am I gonna base my success on being my son's superhero? Him
Mm-hmm.
lighting up when he see me.
Yeah.
Him thinking that no matter what go on, his daddy can fix it. No matter what happened, he can come to his dad. That's success to me. I've accomplished it. So I'm very successful. You know what I'm saying? But everything else that I choose to do, I feel like grace is one of my biggest words because they say God protect babies and fools. Sometimes I play like a fool just so I can stay in God's graces. Even if I know better, sometimes I just don't do better because I want to be foolish in God's grace. Now I'm joking about it, but you know what I'm saying. Honestly, honestly,
Yeah.
like I just feel like success is based on what we feel like we need to do to be successful. And sometimes God will take everything away from you and everybody away from you, and the things that we thought gave us our success or that made us us, he'll strip us from that because he wants us to know and see that we can't depend and lean on none of those things, only him. And you know what I'm saying? When you find that and you depending and leaning on him, to me, that's why I'm never stressed. I know I always know that things are going to work itself out through having faith in God. No matter what type of decisions I make in my own personal life, that's just the truth. So, there's that. But what was the second question outside of how do I find success?
What are you proud of right now?
Oh, the thing that I'm most proud of is the job that I do with my son. Since he been born, I had him every week of his life for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? I could count on a hand weekends out of 5 years. It's probably no more than 10 times of weekends that I haven't saw my son. So you know what I'm saying? That is probably my most proud accomplishment. Somebody from the school told me, your son got the most personality in the school. The teacher comes to the car in the morning, he act like he sleep, and when they open the door, he wake up and say boo, like he's scaring them. So everybody know his name. So just to know that those things that I may have felt like I was sacrificing and I was pouring into my son, his personality is just as big as mine. He
Yeah.
commands a room just as much as I do. People love him just as much as they do me. So I feel like he's just an extension of a blessing. For to be somebody where my mother can say she raised me with predominantly by herself with no man in the household. A lot of people say a woman can't raise a man, but I never tried drugs or hard drugs. It depends on what you classify. I don't know what we can say on the journey with the journey of Jesus. But I
Thank
never
you.
done drugs. I never been a felon or I never been convicted for a crime. So you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? All of those things that I can say I was raised by a woman. Her putting the fear of God in me kept me to this point to be here. And I can walk out the door today and all of that can shift and be a total different situation. And I'm totally aware of that. But I think my awareness came from my mama and what she gave not only me, but a lot of my cousins and family members that was able to come stay with us and be in our household. So that's the most that's probably the thing that I'm most proud of, being a
No,
child and being a parent.
that's amazing because I mean, well, if you haven't gotten a chance, journeyers, go ahead and check out my episode on motherhood. You will hear his mother speak about her journey of being a mother, and this is who she's speaking about. And that's powerful. You know how much you are a great father. You are a great father, and just I love the fact that you said that success is what you know how you define it. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of people have this I feel like it's in society, not so much now. I think a lot of us are realizing it takes time. But if you are that person that's like, oh, I can't until I get this, I'm not going to have success. I mean, you're successful when you reach something that you've set out for, and it could be this. And remember the small things, it doesn't have to be the big things. You're successful because each day you get to wake up and you get another opportunity, and you're living a dream that somebody might be wanting to live. So that's success. And you know, I appreciate this conversation because, you know, having a male perspective on, you know, your own journey. I'm so glad that we were able to have this conversation, Tyrell. And, you know, it's a few things that I'm gonna let my journeyers continue to, you know, check you out. Like you said in the beginning, you have a platform, so I'm definitely gonna include that in the description. I'm gonna include the link that you can check out Grace and Mercy, Tyrell's own document, and 3 albums. I'm gonna include all of that. So you know,
Can
I
I
want
tell them about it real quick? When y'all said, like, if we wasn't on the journey with Gigi, what I would have said, like, coming into another, atmosphere as an artist, would have been like probably something like your boy Flint Hill Stunner, Carolina Big Dog, Ridgeway Young Gun, aka Window Unit Hefe, handle business like a white man, but I'm working like an essay. Follow me on all social media at Flint Hill Stunner. Like, share, subscribe to all the videos on YouTube at Flint Hill Stunner and Flint Hill Stunner Gaming. I'm on Twitch at Flint Hill Stunner also. And TikTok, everywhere, all your social media platforms. Get in close with me. You know what I'm saying? You did. But what else
There
was you
we go.
saying? I'm sorry. I just had to go into the
There we
mode.
go.
What
There
else
we
was you
go. You
saying?
good. You good. There we go. You heard it first. All the links will be in the description. Make sure you check it out. And Tyrell, thank you so much for just tapping in on a journey with Giselle. As we say always, until next time, Tyrell, go ahead and show your love as well. But until next time, peace, love, and happiness.
You did.